Okay, let's talk about sixes. Let's talk about what it's like to do Enneagram work from the lens of already whole as a type six. And, following the theme of all of the types we've been talking about so far, we're trying to get down to what is that need? What is that need that this type is trying to get filled through the behaviors, the pattern behaviors that we typically see with a type six? And what are those pattern behaviors? So sixes are always trying to get ahead of their fear by trying to forecast what might happen, what might that feel like, how do I navigate that, what would I do? And they get so in their heads trying to predict what fears they might encounter or what it might feel like when they encounter certain things, that they're very often missing being in the present. And here's the thing about being a protector or defender. The holy idea of six is holy courage. Sixes are meant to embody courage. But as with any fighter that you would ever meet, whether they do martial arts or sword fighting or whatever kind of fighting art that they do, you have to be in the present moment in order to fight effectively. Like I can practice all of the moves. I can think I know what my opponent is going to do to me. But if I'm imagining what he might do, I'm going to miss being right here and seeing what he is doing. The only way I can fight effectively is if I'm in my stance, I'm relaxed but ready, and then I'm paying attention to what is happening in the moment, and I'm letting my own power and my own skill and my own practice activate within me so that I can, whatever, wax on, wax off, and do all of the fighting that I need to do to defend myself. And so this is where, for sixes, this strategy of trying to predict and amplify and heighten the fear to get ahead of it actually keeps the six from what they're trying to feel, which is supported and capable and competent enough to navigate their life, right? They're just trying to live their life and feel settled and supported and ready for whatever life has to throw at them, right? But just like with the fighting analogy, if I am ready for someone to attack me, my feet are firm on the ground, my body's relaxed but tense. But if I am panicked because my mind is thinking of all the bad things that are going to happen, and I'm like this, I'm not going to be an effective fighter, right? We see there's a difference between this and this. This is panic that has frozen me, so I am unable to defend myself. This is prepared presence that allows me to react, to shift, to respond to whatever is coming my way, because I know that I can. And so this is where some of the strategy of the six ends up pulling the six further away from how they want to feel. And this also helps us understand that if we just tell sixes, to get over their fears, or what is it that I heard someone say? Do the thing even when you're anxious. Do the thing even if you'd feel scared. Maybe. But how does that actually support the need that the type six has, right? Because there's a difference between feeling panicked and then getting mad at themselves for being in a panic because that panic is freezing them from doing the life they want to do, and then just pushing themselves from a place of self-loathing, just do it even though you're afraid. Now, I'm not only having all this energy trapped in my body from being panicked, now I have energy of shame that I am panicked. And now I have zero energy almost to then execute the task that it is that I want to do, right? So the six kind of takes the tension and adds more tension and then tries to execute with all that tension. Can you feel that in your body? I'm not a type 6, but I share a line with 6, and I can relate to that. Just push through, just do it scared, just do it anyways. Just tell yourself, oh, that'll never happen, right? Go into some sort of, it'll all work out, it'll be fine. You're just getting too much in your head. Again, it's kind of a shaming narrative that actually doesn't bring the 6 what they're looking for. It actually kind of shames and bypasses the fear rather than turning toward it. So what would it look like to turn toward the fear? And just like with the type 5, when the 5 doesn't turn toward their emotions, then they are missing out on a whole center of intelligence. And so then they still feel like, I don't feel like I fully know. And all they want is to know, but their own fear of their emotions keeps them from really knowing. It's the same with the 6. They so don't want to feel fear that they are not in the present moment, which is where all of the courage and strength lies. So now they're cut off from their own power. And now they're more afraid because they don't have any sense of their body, any sense of the power that they hold, because they're trying to escape their fear through the mind. The mind holds no power. The mind only holds projection. So only when the 6 says, okay, I'm feeling fear, rather than suppress and continue to cut myself off from my body, what if I let myself feel the fear? What if I sank into the present moment and the body to see what's actually here? What kind of awareness might that give to me? And this is such a hard lesson for me because, again, I'm not a type 6, but I lead with type 3. And I share a line with type 6. And as a 3, I also prefer to just say, I'm never afraid. I'm never afraid of anything. I think I actually told someone that, or told a couple people that, like, no, I don't deal with anxiety. I'm never anxious. What was true is that I never let myself feel my anxiety. I never let myself feel my anxiousness. And I actually took that as like a badge of honor until all of that buildup in my body, it caused me to not be functional anymore. It's a great plan until it doesn't work. And so part of me feeling my fear was to feel it in the body. And it's a different thing to think about what you're afraid of and allow it to cause you to spiral into a panic attack, versus letting your body actually feel and process the fear. So sometimes when I encourage 6s to feel their fear, they're very hesitant, defensive. They don't want to do it because what 6s have experienced is I have let my fears get carried away in my headspace to the point where I have become panicked. That's not the same as feeling, what does the fear actually feel like in my body right now? In this moment, if my fear could express itself in my body, how would it express itself? And when I first started doing this, if I literally had to like let myself panic, and the way it manifested for me was like this very short, rapid breathing, like and my hands would shake and my body would shake. And I just let myself feel the fear in my body. I did that for several minutes. And then I just kind of collapsed. And then I didn't feel the fear any longer in my body. And I had clarity in my head that I hadn't had for a while. And the back of my neck felt released. And I didn't die. I let myself go as far into the fear as possible. I stopped resisting the fear. I stopped trying to get ahead of it in my head. All that was doing was create panic attack because now I'm all up in my head. I have no access to my power, and kept restriction and constriction in my body, again, draining me of my power. You know how much energy it takes to try and hold all of your fear and anxiety in your body? A lot. Talk about adrenal fatigue. Talk about chronic exhaustion. It's the resisting of the fear, the holding it in, the suppressing, the denying, the trying to outrun it and strategizing. All of that creates the exact opposite of what the type 6 actually wants to feel. And even though it may seem counterintuitive, what if you were already whole and fear is a part of that wholeness? So we don't have to reject it, dismiss it, gaslight it away, say, oh, just push the fear down and do it anyway. What if we could respect the fear, feel the fear, not try to strategize or get away from it, but explore it? Okay, I'm panicking. Shake the arms, stomp the feet. You know what else happened when I started to panic and let myself panic? After all that energy was moving and my shoulders, my arms, everything, I took a breath. And you know what I felt since I was in my body? I felt some power in my belly. I felt that power in my belly kind of rise up and spread across my chest. I had this clarity in my head and this power in my body. And I felt less like this, and I felt more like this. I felt more like I had the relaxed power and the clear vision and ability to deal with life. That's what the 6 is longing for. Am I supported enough? Do I have enough vision and power to move through life? And the 6 believes that vision and power can be circulated through the brain and cut off from the body, because any little creep up of fear is like, how do I get around? How do I get around this? How do I get away from this? How can I fix this? Is that true? Is it not true? Okay, if it's not true, then it's not logical, then I shouldn't be afraid of it. And so fear, go away, right? All of the mental gymnastics, it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost, and the cost is my access to my own power. If I was already whole and fear was part of my wholeness, and I could let myself feel the fear, and as I sink into the body, I also find that I have power. I also find that as that fear moves through, I'm not wasting all this energy trying to hold it in. So now I have more energy. And as that moves through and there's this interconnectedness and flow, my vision is clearer, my mind is clearer. I have more mental space because I'm not trying to rationalize my fear away. I'm letting it be here. I'm letting it talk to me. I'm saying, fear, I respect you. You know, our fear is there to keep us safe. If we routinely push our fear away and say, oh, you're crazy, that's ridiculous. Don't be afraid of that. Push that away, push that away, push that away, push that away. After a while, our fear will start screaming at us, just like how some types deny the needs of the body, type 2, for example, and there's others. You know, when the type 2 denies the needs of the body, you can't forever. At some point, the body starts screaming at you through pain. It's the same with fear. You can't deny fear. It will start screaming at you through anxiety. The only way to relax that screaming, or maybe turn the volume down on that screaming, is to turn toward it and listen to it. When my little kids come in here and they're screaming, mommy, 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 as soon as I turn toward them and say, hi, I'm here. Tell me about your day. Tell me what you want to talk about. They talk to me at a normal level. If I push them away and say, guys, no, I can't talk to you right now. Guys, no, I'm doing something else. Like, go away, go away. They keep screaming, and they keep screaming louder. It's the same with our fear. What if fear wasn't something to annihilate or get rid of or push away and say, well, I'm just going to do it even if I feel afraid? Your fear is like, you're going to do what now? You're going to just do shit even though you know it's dangerous? Because your fear doesn't know that it's actually safe. So to your fear, what it feels like is, I know you're telling me it's dangerous, and I'm going to ignore you and just do it anyways, even though I think it's dangerous. No. You have to turn towards your fear and say, hey, why do you think it's dangerous? What do you think might happen? Talk me through it. Let me feel all the fear. Okay. All right. Actually, there's something to this. I probably shouldn't do it. Or, no, you see, that was just an imagination. We're good. Okay. Now I'm going to do it. Until you turn toward the fear, you don't know. So we don't want to get in the habit of just pushing fear away and dismissing it. That's not a healthy 6. That's not a healthy pattern to work with your type structure, right? The healthy way is to say, I'm already whole. That includes my fear. How do I work with it? How do I turn toward it? How do I give it a presence and a voice? How do I listen to what it's trying to communicate to me and wrap it in compassionate love and feel into my body and feel into the power and the fear, the panic and all of the capacity that I have. Only when we feel into both do we have that stability, right? 6s want to feel supported and stable. How are you going to feel stable when you've cut off everything at the neck and are only in the head? If we think of different elements, our body can be broken up into different elements. And I always think of thoughts as the air. Our body is the earth. Our heart and our love is the water. And our belly, our anger is the fire, right? So if we're cut off here, then all we have is the air. And who feels stable in the air? I mean, if you're in an airplane, yeah, but right, when I jump in the air and I'm on a trampoline and I'm just floating in the air, do I feel supported and stable? No, because I'm in the air. The air is not meant to be a support. It is meant to meander. It is, and that's what our thoughts do, right? They just kind of float and they swirl and they go, and that's what they're supposed to do. And when I have the air and the water and the fire in my belly and the land, the structure of my body, I have all 4 elements and I am balanced and supported. This is why it's so important for 6s to have embodiment practices, for 6s to do work that is more than just a thought confronting another thought with 2 gusts of air. You're not doing much. All you're doing is creating more instability. When you have a thought and then you undercut that thought with another thought, and then you undercut that thought with another thought, and well, this could also be true, but that could also be true. You're just going to continue to build up this feeling of, I don't have anywhere to land. What's solid? What's stable? What do I believe? How do I know that I'll be supported, protected? I need support. I need support. Of course you need support, but it's right here. It's right here. And just real quick, I know this isn't really about somatic practices, but can't help myself. I do a lot of somatic work with my clients, and a lot of what we do at the beginning when someone is really cut off from their body is, it sounds silly, but it works. You just start hitting your body, hitting your arms, hitting your legs, hitting your torso, waking up the body and reconnecting and remembering I have a body. And it's strong and it's solid and it's got some fire there in the belly and it's got some water here in the heart and it's got all my thoughts and it's all held by this frame, right? And we feel into that frame. We can also go outside. We can feel into the dirt. We can feel into the ground. We can feel into rocks. I know some friends who, when they're doing coaching sessions, they have like this heavy rock that they just hold, on Zoom, nobody's going to see it, just hold this rock to remind themselves of the grounding and the holding and the weight that everything has, including me. I have substance, I have solidity. And when I'm connected to that knowing, I don't feel quite the desperate need for support from everyone else because I'm holding myself. Not that we don't need support from others, right? But there's a difference between the kind of support that just air by itself needs, and then the kind of support that air, water, fire, and earth, as it is all one. There's a holding that is possible. There's a relaxed power. There's an ability to be in the present moment. This is the work for the six, and it's a work of remembering your wholeness. Remembering those four elements are within you. They are already here. Do you have conscious access of them? And what would having conscious access of them provide to you along your Enneagram work?